Hey everyone, it's Kristi and it's time to get smarter. This week the recommendation I have for you is a very close issue to my heart in terms of the atheist community and scholarship, and that is the debate on the historical Jesus. In this debate, Professor Bart Ehrman and Dr. Justin Bass debate the question, did the historical Jesus claim to be divine? I think it's a very good debate in terms of a lot of Bart Ehrman stuff online is stuff that I've seen now for a couple years, and this content, he's definitely taking his ideas in a new direction, and there are new arguments that I'm hearing him make that I haven't heard him make before. So that's one of the reasons why I find this really interesting, because I really value his scholarship and his perspective on things, and I think it's important to triangulate his views against other scholars like, Reza Aslan or Marcus Borg or Paula Fredrickson or, any of the other sort of people out there doing scholarly, historically informed scholarly research into the historical Jesus. This video, unfortunately, has really poor audio quality, and from what the comments are on Bart's website, not that I know him, like Bart and I know, Professor Ehrman's website, he did try to improve the sound. So as much as it sucks, apparently it could be worse. If I can recommend that you not let the sound be a barrier to the content. Again, this is a situation where I think Ehrman's arguments are the ones worth spending your time on, but if you want to be polite or you're interested in fairness, you can certainly listen to Dr. Bass, but from later on in the debate, it becomes clear that Dr. Bass basically makes one set of argument in his opening statements, and then in his rebuttal, he makes the same arguments. He doesn't rebut Ehrman's points at all, and so Ehrman can just sort of expand on his point even more. The video is really long. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes in length, but that also includes a Q&A session, and if you don't have 2.5 hours, obviously there are bits you can skip, like Dr. Bass's repetition of the points he made in the first section during his rebuttal in order to speed things along. In particular, and I think I'm going to be probably doing a video on this myself, he does a very nice job, Professor Ehrman does, in this video of stating the historical Jesus theory and stating the evidence that exists in the world, and looking at the way in which an historical Jesus theory fits the evidence that we have. And very quickly, I'll just do an example. We have 3 Gospels where Jesus never claims to be God, and then a 4th where he does claim to be God. Using an historical Jesus perspective, how can we understand this data? Well, Jesus was a dude, and his initial followers were Jewish, and this morphed into a sort of Jewish-based Messiah movement that expanded out into a pagan movement, and as time went on, Jesus became more and more divine, which, as I've argued in previous videos, is what I see in the evolving Christology through the 4 Gospels, and everybody sees it's not like my special insight. So given that fact that you have 3 Gospels where Jesus does not claim he's divine, and a 4th that says where he does, how do mythicists take their theory and use it to evaluate, you compare it with the available data to see whether or not the theory makes sense when we look at what happened, what the historical evidence is. So that is why I'm recommending this. I think Professor Ehrman does a great job, and if it's an issue that you have any vague interest in, you'll find it interesting too. All right, so that's going to be it for this recommendation. It's 2.5 hours, so that should tide you over for another week. Until next time, I've been Kristi. You've been awesome, and I'll see you the next time it's time to get smarter.